Jennifer Lopez has spent decades in the spotlight. She's one of the most famous superstars in the world. Unfortunately, she's had a few tragic moments on the road to happiness. Let's go over some of them. Jennifer Lopez was once homeless. It's very hard to believe now, but before Jennifer Lopez was the proud owner of multiple homes across the country, including her $40 million estate in Miami and a $24 million penthouse in New York City, she was actually homeless. Lopez found herself out of her family home following a disagreement with her mother, Guadalupe Rodriguez, about her pursuing a dance career instead of furthering her education. Showing how serious she was about becoming a dancer despite her mom's opposition, J.Lo started spending her nights at the dance studio she practiced at. Now, she recalled in a 2013 interview saying, "My mom and I butted heads. I didn't want to go to college. I wanted to try dancing full time. So she and I had a break. I started sleeping on the sofa in the dance studio. I was homeless, but I told her this is what I have to do." Fortunately, it wasn't actually long until her dance career actually took off, and that became the jumping off point for the incredible career she's carved out for herself. Lopez got a dancing gig in Europe a few months after the fallout with her mom, and then landed her dream job as a fly girl on the TV sketch comedy show In Living Color in 1991, which caused her to make the big move to Los Angeles. The rest, as we know now, is history. The star believes because of this life experience, she will instill a strong work ethic in her twins Max and Em through leading by example. She once explained, "I think a lot about teaching my kids to work hard. I've learned something about kids. They don't do what you say, they do what you do. I watched my parents, my dad worked nights, and I was aware of how much he was doing for us. My mom was a Tupperware lady and also worked at the school. I always felt that I couldn't let them down, and I had a natural discipline from early on. I was always training for something." Money for Jennifer wasn't always easy to come by. Though she's become one of the richest stars in the world, she's worth like a huge $400 million according to Celebrity Net Worth, there was actually a time when Jennifer Lopez was so poor she could only afford to eat one slice of pizza a day. Speaking to Entertainment Tonight, she actually recalled her bare minimum diet before landing her role on In Living Color, admitting she survived on pizza for a couple of years. She actually shared a little more about that difficult period in a 2014 interview with the Sydney Morning Herald after she was asked what she would do if she only had $100 in the bank. She said, "I've been there when I only had $100 or $20 and had to eat a pizza every day for dinner, which cost about $1.50 back at that time when I was a dancer struggling as an artist." So, while those times were certainly tough, it sounds like the singer wouldn't change them, as they're part of, what made her the global superstar that she is today. J.Lo said, "Those are the years that shape you. Right when you're struggling, you're trying to make it, you learn resilience, you learn discipline, you learn not to give up and to have faith." Lopez added she actually found things only got tougher the more successful she became because, there's more pressure, more scrutiny, and more expectation. Jennifer Lopez has been a victim of bullying. Even J.Lo isn't immune to trolls and bullies. The superstar has been subject to an extreme amount of vicious comments over the years and hasn't made a secret about how it's negatively affected her before she learned how to ignore it. She confessed in a 2018 interview that in the early part of her career, it made her feel really bad about herself. While recalling some of the hateful comments she received, she said, "My first song went to #1, my album went to #1, and my first movie went to #1. And I was like, yeah, I'm killing it." And then everyone was like, she can't sing, she can't dance, she can't act, she's just a pretty face, or, her butt's too big, or whatever they were saying about me. She admitted that she even started to believe the nasty comments herself. She said, "It really hurt me for a long time." And Lopez's now ex-husband, Ben Affleck, also spoke about the hate that he saw her receive during their relationship when they dated between 2002 and 2003. On a 2021 episode of the Hollywood Reporters Awards Chatter podcast, he actually said, "People were so mean about her," and accused the tabloids in particular of just writing horrible things about her. He said, "Ugly, vicious stuff was written about her in ways that if you wrote it now, you would literally be fired for saying those things." Jennifer Lopez had a very close aunt pass away that absolutely devastated her. Jennifer Lopez has made it no secret of her close relationships with her family members and was left devastated after her Aunt Rose passed in 2019. She shared a heartbreaking and touching tribute to her aunt, who she affectionately referred to as TT Rose, on Instagram in August of that year. She told fans how much she loved and admired her. Lopez shared her admiration for her long marriage to her uncle, who Rose was actually laid to rest next to. She wrote that the late couple's 3 children were her closest cousins growing up, and told fans that they had, such a close bond that she considered them to even be sisters. She said, "Today we lay to rest my TT Rose. We will lay her next to our beloved uncle, as was her wish, who were married their whole lives and had 3 beautiful daughters. I have so many emotions as I write this about how fierce, tough, and unapologetically Rose was. She taught me what it was to be a hard-working woman." She continued to say, "She, like the other women I was fortunate enough to be raised by, taught me to be independent and unafraid of life and what it would bring." Jennifer Lopez admitted to having a nervous breakdown a few years after her breakthrough success with Selena. Before she went on to appear in movies like Made in Manhattan and Monster-in-Law, Jennifer Lopez had what she described as a nervous breakdown on set in 2001. Lopez was shooting for the drama movie Enough and found herself suddenly hit with an unexpected wave of emotion. She went on to recall it in 2008, saying, "I was like, I don't want to move, I don't want to talk, I don't want to do anything. I had a nervous breakdown." Lopez said there was no telltale signs that it was coming, and shared the terrifying details of how, initially, she had no idea what was happening to her and had, to sit and do nothing in her trailer to calm down. She continued to say, "It's funny what tricks your mind plays on you. I just didn't want people to think I was falling apart, but when I look back on it now, it's so odd to me that those are the words I chose to say. I am not weak." She recalled how her bodyguard had to put her in the car, and she went straight to the doctor, who diagnosed her as being sleep deprived and overworked. The doctor tried to prescribe her pills, though she declined them, and Lopez was told not to go back to set until she had at least 2 days of sleep. She did, and fortunately the superstar was okay, but she also recalled a time she was sitting in her trailer again and suddenly completely froze, and she let her self-care needs completely go. She said, "I found myself physically paralyzed. I couldn't see clearly, and then the physical symptoms I was having started to scare me, and the fear compounded itself." Again, Jen was taken to the doctor, who basically told her she needed to make like a huge lifestyle change. No caffeine, lots of sleep, and lots of exercise. So, she made the changes, and although she had many anxiety attacks here and there, she's overcome the scary sagas and credits her lifestyle now to just calculated moderation. Jennifer Lopez struggled a lot with her parents' divorce. Jennifer Lopez's parents didn't have the traditional happy ending to their romance, as their union ended in divorce 33 years after they tied the knot. The split took its toll on their daughter, and she struggled to return to their family home after a very difficult conversation about their split. For a 2013 interview with W, she went home for the first time since her parents called her and her siblings, and she went back to tell them about their divorce. She said, "I think that's why I was nervous about coming here today. It's like seeing someone from the past. You're afraid to run into them because you never know if it's going to be like a wow or if it's going to be very difficult. This is a combination of both." But despite the demise of their marriage, Jennifer doesn't have a bad relationship with her parents or bad memories of her childhood growing up in the Bronx. She actually credits her mom and dad, for her strong work ethic, noting she learned how to work hard by watching them. Now, I can't leave this conversation without talking about just how tragic her love story with Ben Affleck has been. We all got a glimmer of hope and a feeling of nostalgic redemption when Bennifer 2.0 was in full swing. Personally, I was very happy. I don't know about you guys, but I was living for it. Being a very lukewarm fan of J.Lo and a medium spicy fan of Ben's, I actually rooted for them back in the early 2000s, and when news of Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck's divorce broke 2 years after they married and 2 decades after they first fell in love, entertainment reporters began discussing it like crazy. Affleck and Lopez first dated between 2002 and 2004, and even at their heights, both of them could sell more magazines than tickets. Now, both of them were beautiful and inoffensive and seemed to fear and feed on the attention they got. Like many of our most enduring stars, she is now perhaps most famous for being her, J.Lo. He is mainly famous now for looking sad and depressed all the time, but the dissolution of one of 2020's most shocking celebrity reunions was made official on January 6, bringing an end to a whirlwind saga that began back in 2021 when Ben and Jen reunited before getting officially married the following year. Now, despite how sad, fans might be about their undoing, a source close to J.Lo has said that she's in a really good place and just wants to close the door on this crazy chapter. The only silver lining is that she's keeping the $5 million wedding ring like all the others that she's kept. And listen, I don't want, their sad ending to discourage you from spinning the block though, because look at Nelly and Ashanti, they're happy and thriving. All jokes aside, I do hope J.Lo finds peace and love in this new year. But question, how long do you guys think it'll be until she finds a new soulmate? Let me know your thoughts. I'm your host, Ashley. It's been great catching up.